All right. To get going, Nate, how about you introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name's Nate Meyers. I am an Agile transformation coach with Vaco Limited here in Cincinnati. And we have a full suite of consulting offerings, but this is the space I play in.
Nice. What got you into Agile? Tell me about your road to just becoming an Agile coach.
Yeah. I've always been really passionate about the customer experience. And I spent a lot of time in the first part of my career in the service management space because of my drive to improve, products and services and how they can really impact our customers. And after more than a decade of that, I decided that I needed to kind of shift focus and move further up in the life cycle of
Okay.
that experience to really maximize my influence on the customer. And I was really fortunate enough to be presented with an opportunity to just totally change my career focus. And it started with a 30-day boot camp on how to become a really good agilist and specifically a scrum master. And a lot of the concepts kind of resonated with me because of my Lean Six Sigma black belt background that I had. And so I was able to really lean into that role immediately. And after a few years serving as a individual team agilist at a couple of different companies, I took the jump into the consulting world, helping other companies with their agile practices. And I'll tell you, I never looked back. I love what I do, and I love working with companies who are eager to go on that journey.
Yep. Uh, what are some of the kind of the biggest patterns that you're kind of seeing across your experience with um, Agile and the goals that the companies are wanting to achieve?
Well, I think the biggest thing that's kind of shifted over the last 5 years is that Agile isn't just a software. They don't just play in the software space. And we're seeing more and more companies that are wanting to leverage the Agile concepts to deliver their business outcomes, even when their primary space is not associated with software development. One of the clients that I'm currently with right now, I would say probably 75% of their Agile transformation footprint is actually in the services area where they focus on IT services that they're delivering internally to the company. And so it's really neat seeing seeing companies kind of latch on to the success of the business outcomes that are being delivered and finding, innovative ways to realize that through the agile transformation.
And then kind of your journey, how much time do you think that has taken from kind of, your background in Lean Six Sigma and then moving over
Yep.
to kind of the Agile side and then your current role now? About how long do you think that took?
I would say, like, to be really comfortable with the coaching aspect is probably a 4 or 5 year journey. Um, you know, I did I did several years in lean, but really getting comfortable with lean probably takes 1 to 2 years. And then I would say probably 2 to 3 years of just being a practitioner of agile is really required to understand the foundational concepts around why we do it, and then go from a teaching stance to a coaching stance and helping others appreciate and understand that, on their own, kind of on their own time. So yeah, I would say probably, 5 years is about right.
And how did you get introduced to path agility?
Well, that was actually very coincidental. So last year, I was given the opportunity to be a breakout session speaker at the annual Cincinnati Agile conference called Agile Cincy. And since I was there anyway, I went ahead and picked up a couple breakout sessions for myself to
Mhm.
to attend and grow and learn. And one of them happened to be around the path to agility and maturing agile transformations. And so that's how I was exposed to it one on one with some great product teams there.
And then at that time when you're kind of listening in the session, was there something that you were like, gosh, like this is really what is unique? Like this is something that's different. What
Yeah, I mean,
was it?
the thing that jumped out at me was it was actually answering a call that I was already seeing with my clients in the
Hmm.
market today. And we actually missed an opportunity with a client because at the time our agile transformations were more theoretical without specific roadmaps on what we would do and how we would measure it. And once I saw this tool, I mean, the light bulb immediately went off and said, this is exactly what our clients are looking for, those tangible assets that they can hold on to, and that gives them the warm fuzzies around, not only this is the journey you're going to go on, but this is how we empirically measure the success of that journey.
Yeah. Can you give me an example of something that's like, you talked about making the shift from theoretical to more tactical. Can you give me an example of that?
Yeah, for sure. So I think right off the bat, the impetus for change was really, really important for us. Drawing that consensus of why we needed to go on this journey in the first place. Creating that org vision and things of that nature. That was finding that starting point after performing an assessment to show that this is a real problem. Was really eye-opening for our clients, because I think a lot of clients will come in and say, "Oh yeah, we've got a vision, and yeah, it's inspirational, sure." But then when you ask, "Okay, that's great. Can you show me what evidence you would point to show that your vision is inspirational and that it helps people like deliver in a coherent fashion?" That's when they start to realize, wow, I guess we're not as great as we thought we were. And then, concatenating that up and into a robust measurable score to show, where they can get started was super powerful.
Yeah. And then, so making the switch from just using path to agility, the model, how did you then move from the model to using path to agility navigator, the software?
Um, I actually jumped right in using the software, the Path to
Okay.
Agility software, because I went to the breakout session, and then I immediately saw the value in becoming a certified practitioner for Path to Agility. And with that certification, I got the trial license, and I was able to start playing with the tool immediately. And I found that extremely valuable to help, not only in conversations with my clients, but also in conversations internally as I went to pitch the idea around the partnership that we now have with Path to Agility, and without having the ability to actually get in there and play with the tool in collaboration with the certification, I think that would have been a much harder sell.
So with the access to the tool that you got with the practitioner class was only at
Mhm.
the team level. So at that point, were you running like a team level assessment? Tell me a little
Yeah,
more about how you were using that part of the tool.
for sure. So we actually had one org, one system, one team that we had access to for the practitioner trial,
Okay.
and that actually aligned pretty well with how we were approaching my this specific client, because they had a kind of a smaller scope of their agile transformation within just their one organization, and they're a relatively small organization, so we were able to really hone in on a single system and a single team to as a trial for our measurement. And once we went through that initial assessment and we were able to form the partnership, then we were able to very easily blow that out to a full blown organization wide assessment.
Okay. Did you present kind of the findings in terms of like, here are the outcomes, here are the capabilities, here are your strengths, here are your growth opportunities? How did you present that to your client?
Yeah, absolutely. We led with the business outcomes.
Okay.
Ultimately, that was the impetus for gaining momentum, for leveraging the path to agility. Because at that point, it's not just going on an agile journey for the sake of going on an agile journey. It's doing an agile transformation in order to achieve specific strategic goals that the company had. And when we're able to relate those specific business outcomes to that business and their market, it really helped change some of the healthy skepticism that we had from our senior leadership. And after we went through that conversation, they were actually pulling for more. They were asking me to schedule more meetings, more conversations, so that we could continue to mature this transformation.
Was that a pretty quick change? So you
It
mentioned there was like a healthy skepticism going in, and
Yeah.
then you kind of presented, here's the path forward.
Yeah,
How
and we've already received the feedback from the client that bringing in Path to Agility was the turning point for them, because it created a tangible asset. It gave them something. Again, it moved from the theoretical to something they could hold on to and understand, and not only the transformation tactics, but the impact that those tactics would have. And so I'm actually able to use our heat map to show, hey, if customer satisfaction is one of the most important things for your business strategically, then these are the specific agile outcomes and capabilities that we need to focus on. And what you're, sometimes what you're doing is hindering the progress for that specific capability or outcome. And this is how it could impact your ultimate business outcomes that you're trying to achieve. And so it's been a really healthy back and forth conversation of, we know that we can't have everything we want. So if we're going to pick and choose where we invest in
Yeah.
maturing, then we want to make sure that those investments are helping to move the needle on the outcomes that are most important to the ones that are paying the bill.
Are you focusing on just, you mentioned customer sat, is it just one outcome, or is there another outcome, business outcome that they're focused on?
Yeah, so that was an arbitrary example, but they are focused on 3 business outcomes right now.
Okay.
But they've kind of stack ranked them as far as which ones they feel is most important to go after.
Nice.
I mean, obviously, all 9 is great, right? We all know that there's a place for all 9. However, getting an executive leadership team to again to eat their own dog food and create focus for their organizations on what outcomes are most important from a strategic perspective. That was a really healthy maturation to watch the leadership team go through, and I was really excited to go on that journey with them.
Yeah. You mentioned that path to agility was a turning point for your client.
No,
What do you think is the biggest benefit that the approach and the tool offers?
the visualizing. Not only visualizing what we need to do and the impact it's going to have, but the measurement aspect of it, and seeing those boxes turn from red to orange to yellow to green. It's very attractive for my senior leadership team as they go and they talk about, here's the justification for the changes that we need to make, and then coming back in a month and doing another assessment and seeing the progress that we've made and tying that back to seeing how we're actually moving the needle on these business outcomes. And again, it's not turning the box green for the sake of turning the box green, but it's, hey, this is the business outcome we're influencing, and we can actually measure that influence. Like, we can measure the impact of that business outcome.
So on the flip side of things, how do you use the capabilities and outcomes that may not be green? So are you also seeing that the capabilities and outcomes that are yellow or even red, how has that been able to kind of influence the path forward and the roadmap for the
That drives our backlog. I mean, it allows me to be extremely tactical with trying, right, and experimenting with certain things to try and show that the acceptance criteria of those capabilities. And I'll be honest, we're not 100%. I mean, we'll try something and see, hey, does this meet our acceptance criteria? Does it have the outcome we're trying to achieve? And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So, but we're able to track that in our backlog, right? Our P2A Navigator backlog, and we put that back into working, and we try a different task, which is super powerful for us because we're able to really focus in on our teams, our agile practitioners, specifically at the team level, on the things that they need to do and try, right? And again, it's a matter of epitomizing that concept of, hey, let's try something out, let's measure its success, and then let's go back to the drawing board and try something else if it didn't work for us.
Yeah. So is it fair to say that you're running about monthly assessments with
Yeah,
people that
that's
you're
what we've
using?
moved to.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, we hit kind of a lull just because of some leadership aspects that we had with the primary client that we're using the P2A Nav with. But now that we've kind of hit our stride and we're gaining some traction, we're doing monthly assessments
Okay.
to show that progress. However, I'm in the tool every day. I'm in
Okay.
the
That
tool
was my
every
next
day.
question.
I'm reviewing our backlog. I'm identifying new tactical things that we need to accomplish in order to move our acceptance criteria and to move our agile capabilities forward. And I'm sharing that information with my agile practitioners so that they can learn as we're going on this journey as well. As ultimately, I know that my time with them will come to an end. And I want them to have the tools that they need to continue to grow their agile transformation as their business matures as well.
Okay. And so when you say agile practitioners, are you talking about the like the scrum masters that may be on the teams? Okay.
Yes. Yep. Scrum masters, and then I'm also creating those relationships with our program leads.
Hmm.
So that's that's our team of products that we're segregating as they want to lean in to the concepts of, hey, I'm seeing this program over here is really crushing it. They're getting a lot of work done and they're having a lot of impact on their business, and now they get hungry for that too. And so bringing them into the P2A fold has been really neat for them as well, because they're able to use those measures.
Got it. So tell me, in your role as, an external partner and as the lead for the transformation, tell me how you're using Navigator on the daily basis.
Yeah, it's really at the tactical level, running through our backlog and making sure that people are very clear on what we're trying to accomplish in the near term, and who's accountable for each of those items.
Mm.
So we don't have a daily stand up with our ADL, but we probably do, I would say, like 3 times a week on average we'll meet, and we'll just kind of see where everybody's at. This client does run particularly lean, so making sure that everybody has time to participate in the way that can benefit them while at the same time running the business has been a balance, meeting them where they're at, um, very clearly articulating what the expectation is of what we need, and then seeing what we can get, and then measuring the impact that it has. So yeah, that's the primary way that we use it.
And then so you recently became the practice lead for all of Vaco for Agile Transformation. What is kind of your vision on for your role there, and how do you
Yep.
feel like you're going to use Paths Agility moving forward in that role?
Our goal is to grow our agile transformation practice first into 5 cities around the United States, and to grow a team underneath me that can help deliver Path to Agility for our agile transformation clients. And it really transitions my role a little bit from being an executioner and a practitioner of Path to Agility to really being an advocate and a coach of
Mhm.
how now my team can leverage the tool itself. And so I know that will be a journey for me as well. And I know I've got a great team behind me to support me on that. So I'm super excited.